After owning this car for over a year, I want to talk about some of the subtle, awesome things that come with owning and driving an S2000. Of course, countless journalists and automotive reviewers have talked about the handling, the cult classic nature, and really what makes this car a modern classic, but I want to take a different approach and talk more about some of the subtle things that make this car so fun and awesome to own. Before I get into the things that I have really enjoyed over the last year, I just want to touch on the fact that this car has, really become a cult classic for the last 20-25 years. Of course, a lot of JDM cars right now are becoming more and more popular. The S2000 featured in Fast and Furious, which definitely helped it, but it's definitely becoming increasingly harder and harder to find nice examples of JDM cars in general. A lot of them were pretty inexpensive, were kind of beat by teenagers and modded a ton. So to find an example that has low mileage, is all stock and in good condition is definitely a challenge these days. And I think it'll just increasingly become more and more difficult to find cars that are truly in good condition, haven't been modded or beat up too badly. For all the reasons that this car has been loved by journalists, has been really loved by the authentic car community, they're all really true. It handles super well. It's a light, nimble sports car, and that's really what you want these days. Cars are becoming so modern, everything's going electric. It can be really, really fast, really expensive, but when it comes down to it, you want an engaging driving experience, and this thing really does that for you. The first thing I want to talk about with this car is the usability, and I'm going to break it up into a couple different points, but the first part of the usability is the entry price point. These cars have held their value around anywhere from $15,000 to $35,000, but a sweet spot of $20,000 to $30,000, you can get a super nice S2000. And I think it's somewhat unique because a lot of the JDM cars have appreciated like crazy. When you look at the RX-7s, the Supras, the GTRs, a lot of those are now six-figure cars, while the S2000 has remained somewhat affordable. I know $20,000 to $30,000 is still a lot of money, but compare it to a new Honda Civic or something pretty lame, pretty boring. Instead, you can get this. And the great thing about these cars is they're probably gonna hold their money. So, you can get into one of these cars, you can drive it, you can put on miles, and you're not gonna lose a ton of money. If anything, if these don't appreciate, it'll likely stay pretty stable, very, very similar to where you bought it. So you can have an awesome car, you can use it, you can drive it, you can have fun, and you're not gonna lose a ton of money. So that's the first reason why I think these cars are such good value. The second part of the usability is the fuel economy. And of course, you're not gonna buy an S2000 for the fact that it has good fuel mileage, but it is kind of nice that it does. Because it has a four-cylinder, a very tested, strong four-cylinder, it actually has great fuel economy. I think on average, I probably get 20 to 25, and almost all of the times that I'm driving this car, it's in a spirited fashion, and even when you're driving very spiritedly, you still get really good gas mileage. So it is a four-cylinder, but it's a fun four-cylinder. You can have a lot of fun, and you're not going to go through tanks and tanks of fuel. The S2000 is also very practical. Compared to a lot of its competitors, like let's say the Lotus Elise, it can do really everything you want, even as a daily driver. It goes pretty unnoticed since it is a Honda, and it also has a soft top, which means that if you're parking somewhere and you don't want to leave the top down, you can just put the top up and it's no problem. In the interior, there's a ton of good stuff as well. You have plenty of room for two people, and there's a few little storage compartments like right here and also above right here. But it knows what it is. It's a sports car at its heart. It's a driver's car, and it doesn't try to be anything it's not. You don't have a ton of outdated technology or screens. You simply have a great driver's zone, pretty unique tack there, and some music. And at the end of the day, when you're driving, you're cruising in the canyons, that's all you need. The S2000 truly is such a good value and such a great car. I highly suggest it if you're in the market for a fun, great value sports car. Thanks so much for watching.